All right, and welcome to Right CNC. Thank you for picking up one of our tables. We're going to talk a little bit about how to actually put together one of the old standard hand torch brackets. Now, the way that it comes assembled, you have a series of bolts here. You have 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here, and then of course you have a series of bolts. And this is of course repeated on both sides. So there's 2 sides to this assembly here. I'm going to go ahead and grab a hand torch. Now in this particular sense, I'm going to be using an Everlast IPT60 hand torch. I'm using the Everlast because in most cases when it comes to dealing with hand torches, you'll need a system that can interface with our system. And while any plasma cutter can technically interface with this system, the Everlast is a very simple hand torch system that allows our machine to fire the hand torch without having to wire anything into this handle. Now, if you have a Hypertherm hand torch, Hypertherm recently put in a series of, essentially a series of pins and controls that prevent the hand torch from being fired by remote, so by the actual CPC port on the back. So there's another video that I can send that specifically addresses how to wire into the hand torch and gives you at least a general direction on how to do that. It's not recommended, and it does remove warranty on that particular hand torch, but it is a way to integrate a hand torch using the Hypertherm system. But again, not the most recommended way, but something that has been done across the industry for quite some time. Now, let me talk about a little bit of the assembly of this. You'll notice here it has a slotted circular hole here, or it's an arced hole that allows you to adjust the location and angle of this hand torch, and that's going to become critical once you do put this on your table. So what you're going to need to assemble this properly is a hand torch, and then you're going to need a series of zip ties, because we don't want to bolt something in and potentially crush this and damage this. So we use a zip tie system in order to preserve the integrity of the handle and not damage it for future use. Now what you're going to do is you're going to line up, and I'll show you from this angle, you're going to line up the nozzle with this little piece here, this little extension here. We want to make sure that it's lined up with there, because that is where we're going to be mounting our piece. And you'll notice that it actually lines up with the holes. There's 2 series of holes here and 2 holes over here underneath on this side, which we will then insert as such. And there we go. And you'll take the zip ties and actually thread them through the back side to the front side. Same thing on this back end here. We're going to be threading it through the appropriate holes that are accessible for this particular hand torch. And you're going to want to make sure that when you're assembling it, that your consumable nozzle will be accessible from the underneath, so that you can at least undo this and replace your nozzles and your electrodes as need be. So a series of zip ties here will hold this in place, ensuring that you do in fact have enough nozzle out the bottom and to allow you to then unscrew this and put in a new set of consumables when necessary. And that's just going to be critical. Now once you have this assembled with the zip ties in these locations, you'll then be able to insert this rod into the Z-axis assembly. And I don't have one of the older Z-axis assemblies here with me currently. We will have to make a video that specifically addresses that as we have that available here on this end. But what you will do from that point is ensure that when you install this, you install this vertically into the plasma, into the holder, into the machine torch holder there. And then what you'll do from this end is you'll actually adjust up and down, adjust the angle of this to compensate for the angle of the actual torch itself, so that we ensure that the angle here is 90 degrees with this particular pipe. That being said, it'll then be perpendicular to the material and allow you to execute straight cuts. Again, this is critical because your kerf width is going to be very much dependent on the angle of this torch. So we make sure that we have enough curvature here to allow you to adjust and move this piece to get us perpendicular with the material and parallel to this particular pipe. So with that being said, everything's zip tied, locked in. You insert this into the Z-axis, you make sure everything is locked in, and from that point you plug into the back of your plasma cutter system, and you are good to go. Go ahead and run a test fire to ensure that the back of your plasma, or wherever you plug into your plasma, appropriately fires this particular hand torch. And it varies system to system, and if you do have an Everlast, please consult a wiring guide before putting this together in order to make sure that you are circumventing the trigger mechanism and allowing our system to then work within this within the Hypertherm hand torch and accurately fire it off. So that being said, if you have any specific questions about that, please feel free to let me know. We will also do another video about this on request, and in particular with any system that you have in mind. We'll go ahead and try to find a way to make sure that you can see your hand torch in this system properly. In any case, have a good day.